wanted to start. Look, I actually think that I was going to say the stock of the day, but the sector of the day is really going to set the scene for the conversation, because I chose tech as a sector rather than a specific stock, given that the NASDAQ notched up its 8th straight week of gains. Just as a sample, I mean, Friday's performance wasn't stellar, but Oracle hit a record high after a quarterly beat. Apple notched a record closing high. Microsoft achieved record valuation of nearly 2.6 trillion, and Nvidia really is a poster child for the AI-led enthusiasm. But here, tech stocks have also got a bit of a boost. That includes today. So look at Wisetech, Xero up above $100 yet again, knocking on the door of 120. NEXTDC, Altium, Audinate. A bit of news out there today as well. Hansen Technologies and Breville Solutions both getting new CEOs. So I just thought it was a bit of a scene setter for the week. The question being, what tech stocks, if any, would Gaurav and Mathan buy right now? You're welcome. I'll ask you first, Gaurav.
Thank you, Nati. The expectation is that we've had this really big tech route, and there must be sources of value, there must be great stuff to buy. And in fact, we've got an amazing tech sector on the ASX. The top 4 or 5 companies are genuinely first-rate. Stuff like Wisetech, Technology One, Xero, Altium, and I'd throw in there, what's that called? The Audinate, of course, but also the medtech one. I've gone blank. Promedicus as well. Yeah. I mean, these are all sensational companies, and they are all at record highs. This, the pricking of the tech bubble in Australia has been the expulsion of loss-making, poor quality businesses, and the blowing up of valuations for really high quality businesses. So the opportunity to top up your portfolio has been brief, and it's been limited. We've managed to pick up Objective Corp during this little route. We started a little position in Objective Corp. I think that's an outstanding position. I would buy that over Technology One. I know Technology One is a wonderful business, and it's on our watch list as well, but I would just suggest that there's a lot of aggressive accounting that runs through Technology One, and it's much cleaner and, from my point of view, much more favorable through Objective Corp. And so I like that business quite a lot. We know we're long-term fans of Altium and Audinate. We hold both in the portfolios. Audinate is a top 5 position for me personally. I've held it for years. But I think my favorite tech stock at the moment, the one that I have been buying recently, has been RPMGlobal, which is a small business.
Okay.
I saw Math pushed it into the portfolios, and I was really pleased to see it. I think that's one that's genuinely experienced a downturn, and it may experience a bit of a downturn in the numbers as well, but this is a really strong business being built with a strong team, and I think if you're a long-term investor, you'll do really well out of today's prices.
So RUL is the ticker code today, trading at $1.48, so you would buy today?
Yes.
Good, I like that. I thought we might go more typical, but I should have known after
you should have known.
Time. Yeah. Mathan, are you buying tech stocks? Would you, or have all the easy gains been made?
Look, I think it's, I guess the coin with two sides. You've got some techs that everyone knows, so the big ones. I mean, we've always said Altium, Audinate, top 2, Wisetech, Xero have done quite well. Actually, I'm quite impressed with how Xero's done. Again, it's proving me that it's doing better than what I think it should do. But again, hey, it's doing well. And I think the big techs are doing well, and everyone knows it. Am I chasing them? Probably not. For me, it's all about relative valuation, risk return. So there are beaten up techs. So it's actually a seasonal time to look up beat up sectors, because you've got the tax loss selling. So usually that happens in the middle of around middle of June, and we probably didn't have it much last week because the market was going up. So when you're trying to sell, you're going, I'll wait a week. So most of them would have held back, and I suspect you're going to get that in the next couple of weeks. So the beaten up stocks give you an opportunity in the next couple of weeks to get
not
some.
Not very good though, mate, the beaten up stuff. We've got some on the list today, and they're just not very good.
No, I mean, there's a reason why they got beaten up, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to be careful on how you pick them. And funny you went to Objective. I've been looking at that one, and and I mentioned RUL because I knew you'd come to ARB So both of them actually do stand up quite well. And the beauty of it is there is negative news. We know the numbers are not that great, but we can see how that can recover, and that's what you want to buy. So even in another space I'm looking at is someone like retail. It looks ugly.
Looks ugly.
I've been talking it down for years, and it's there for a reason.
Yep.
But there are some stocks
Completely
in there
agree.
that are
Completely.
quite interesting.
Yep.
So I am looking at this sector. Tech sector is of interest for me, but I'm not chasing the fan favorites because they're all quite well priced, and I think they'll trade with NASDAQ, and that's another game being played on a global level. So I think they'll come off, but look, they're good, so you don't have to worry about them. But there are some turnaround stories like RPMGlobal, like Objective. I think they're worthwhile on the risk return to support in this market. And I think if things do, if you're positive on the market and you think things are going to keep running, your upside is much more on something like RPMGlobal and Objective than with the fan favorites, because everyone's there.
Can I throw 2 hand grenades into this?
Oh yeah.
The first is that I think the market has generally, and I've been guilty of this as well, has underappreciated what's being built at Wisetech. I think there's actually a potential monopoly, maybe a winner-takes-all business, and I'm really happy with that trajectory of that business.
It is, but that last transaction makes it that, right? If that didn't happen, your questions would still remain.
I still think at these prices, I know it's gone up a lot and it has been very well bought, but I still think I can make the valuation make sense at these prices. The second hand grenade is that Xero is looking increasingly problematic for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think this is looking like a slow growth business at a huge valuation. It's not worked.
But the thing is, it's kind of like
I'm less happy to hold that.
It's one of those things where I know it should be slower, but it's doing better, and it always seems to do better, and it runs faster. So I always get caught behind it, but I never want to chase it. So I've missed a number of times, but it is a really good model. But what it has as a process here doesn't necessarily translate to outside Australia. How they can try to bring clients on board. It takes a lot longer, but geez, they keep proving wrong. But still, I just can't get myself around to it.
All right, super interesting. So I think we can agree on Objective Corp, although you would prefer to be buying RPMGlobal right now. You as well.
Yeah, I think you buy a bit of both of them, and the next set of numbers are probably not going to be great.
Yeah.
So if you spread your buying, I think you get into a nice position.
And then I will say a bit of a bonus coming from Gaurav, at least when it comes to Wisetech Global. Will it emerge as the behemoth in the global logistics space? I suppose. Well, we will see. Thanks, guys. That was a good chat. Just so topical right now, it's hard to ignore.